Are you a hardworking local business owner striving for success online? There is help. Welcome to the Smarter Local Marketing Podcast, featuring candid conversations and inspiring stories of online success. Now, here's your host.
Yes, this is James Martell, and I am your host for the Smarter Local Marketing Podcast. And today we'll be talking with Roy Weissman, VP of Sales for SendPulse. And we're going to be discussing a next-generation email platform for local businesses that makes it easy to create and send emails that get opened. I had the opportunity recently to chat with Roy about SendPulse, and I'm looking forward to letting Roy explain 3 groundbreaking features SendPulse offers that are designed to get your emails opened. I'm also going to share a special link towards the end of the show so you can get an absolutely free SendPulse account with up to 2,499 subscribers and 15,000 emails per month capacity for free and with no strings attached. Now, before Roy joins us, just a reminder that if you would love to finally have in place a rock-solid internet marketing strategy for your business that provides you with an excellent ongoing return on investment, go ahead and reply to the email in which you received this podcast episode to arrange a free 30-minute consultation to discuss how a Smarter Local Marketing program can be custom-tailored to your specific needs and business. Again, simply reply to the email in which you received this podcast episode to arrange your free, no-obligation 30-minute consultation. Once again, Roy Weissman is the VP of Sales for SendPulse, with an extensive background in business development, sales, marketing, finance, and management in the media, entertainment, and digital media industries. Roy lives in New York City with his wife, Fran, and a brand new baby girl. Roy, welcome to the Smarter Local Marketing Podcast.
Thank you, James. Glad to be here.
So I'm going to learn a little bit about you in a moment, but let's kick it off with a big question. I think a lot of marketers have, and I know there's the old cliche out there: the money is in the list, and we've all heard it ad nauseum. Some of us took it to heart. Took me 5 years to figure that out. I started in 99 and didn't actually build my first email list till 2004, so I was a little slow out of the gate, but since that time I've been on it. But how important is building an email audience for businesses and online businesses?
But, if you think about what it costs to advertise today, you go on Google AdWords, Facebook, you're paying at least a couple of dollars a click for anything. I mean, unless you really go wide and you get it for less. But, years ago, you could get clicks for 10 or 20 cents. Those are long gone. So if you're spending $2, $3 for every visitor that clicks through to your website, then you have to ask yourself what it costs to actually get that visitor convert, and we can't convert them right away. We usually have to have them download a report or something. It goes higher and higher and higher. And in advertising, there's a foundational concept called reach and frequency. If you reach enough of your qualified audience with enough frequency, and typically that has to be anywhere from 10 to 15 impressions, then maybe they'll buy. So now start figuring out, and online you can do retargeting and stuff, but everything costs money, every click. Start figuring out what it costs. But imagine if you convert those people into an email list. Now you have them on a list, and you can email them as often as you like without driving them crazy. And it doesn't cost you anything to email them. As long as you do something of value for them and you make it worth their while to open your emails, they're not only opening your emails, but they're getting to know you. They're getting that frequency, and you're getting to know your customers, and they're getting to know you. And over time, you build that relationship, and now you're going to be able to convert them into sales. But even though it might cost you a decent amount of money to get them on the list, at the end of the day, once they're on the list, you now have an asset. Whereas getting them to a landing page, only a small percentage convert to what? It's much harder. So having that list is really valuable, and keeping in touch with your customers is very important.
I remember interviewing one of the founders of iContact, obviously a competitor to you guys, and he mentioned in that interview that a full 70% of people that come to a website will never ever be seen again unless you get them to subscribe.
Right.
And And I think that's exactly what you're saying as well. We spend all this money, and a lot of people do. They spend a lot of money driving traffic and eyeballs to a website with the hope of getting a sale, but they don't gather up their email address, and they will never see 70% of those people again. What a lost opportunity.
Might be even higher percentage now.
Could be. Now on the topic of open rate, what are we up against these days? You come from the space, you're on top of it. What are we really up against when it comes to getting our emails opened?
Well, a company, I think it's called Radicat, did a big study years ago, and they figured out on an average a year or two ago, there was something like 208 billion emails sent a day. It's insane. And then Epsilon, a big email company, did an analysis, and they said, you realize only maybe 20% are ever opened. So that means 80% of what you're sending out, nobody ever opens. And, that means people think, I guess I need a bigger list. Well, how big a list do you want to get? Is it quality or is it quantity? There are some people who've been lucky enough to get very high open rates, but most people aren't. So sending out thousands of emails and only 20% open, and it might be less for your case, you're not making money. If you're selling products online, if you're trying to get people to web pages or get them to buy something, and 80% of your list doesn't open it, but then if you could take that from 80% down to 70% or 60%, so you're getting 20 to 40% opens, you could be doubling your revenues. That's huge. It's all about the open rate. They always said it's funny. We did a video. It's not about the size of your list. It's about how many people actually open the emails.
When we chatted on Podcasting Master, you talked about some features that were pretty stunning. And of course, I've got two accounts right now. I've got one with Aweber, and I've got another one with MailChimp. And I'm bailing on both of them and just freeing up some time next week to actually do that. Because of these features that you shared with me, and because they do exactly what you just said, they help get these emails open. So let's talk about one feature first. Talk about the resend feature.
Now, the resend feature is very cool. What it does is when you send your emails out, and it's really one thing about our interface, it's really easy to use. So here we have this whole big feature, resend feature. When you set up your email to send it, is a little checkbox. Do you want to use the resend feature? And when you check it, it opens a window and you write a second subject line. Now, what does the resend feature do? It basically resends the same email, however long later you want to resend it, only to the people that didn't open the first send. So typically people will schedule it 24 hours later. So that means 24 hours after you send the initial email, the system keeps a record of who opened it, and the people that didn't open it get a second email with a different subject line. Now, here's the thing that really blows my mind. We did an analysis of everybody who used the resend feature in the last 3 months. And out of everybody, there was overall an increase. Every single person got an increase in open rate. There wasn't one person that didn't get an increase in open rate across thousands of accounts. Not one person. And some people got open rate increases as much as 65%. But overall, when you looked at the entire universe, it was 44.5%. So that means people got substantial increases just from this one feature. Now, one thing I want to mention, our platform isn't just email. It combines email, web push notifications, and SMS texting. So you can send a coordinated campaign across multiple channels. So imagine you sending an email out and a notification simultaneously, and that person sees a pop-up on their screen, and it can also be a larger image too, very nice looking, and say, hey, check your email for this great deal we just sent you. So then the person goes and looks in their email and says, oh, what is this about? So you can coordinate these.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, the resend feature alone to me is such a no-brainer, and probably the primary reason I'm moving, because when we used to, in the olden days, for long-time listeners, they'll remember this, when we used to go look for backlink partners, people who would backlink to our site or pad where we would be sending out articles, which we still do with a link in the article back to our site. We have a series of 3 emails that we would send out. It was the initial contact email, and then if they didn't respond to that, and many didn't, we would send them another email in the next day or two, and it's the second email that always got the action. It's the one that outperformed this first email every single time. And same more recently, when I'm looking for guests for, say, Podcasting Mastery to bring on large podcasters to interview them, we'll send out an initial contact email, and a lot of times we'll get one or two. And then when we send the second reminder email, boom, every time. It's always the second email. So when you say to me that this happens automatically, that was the first thing that kind of hooked me. It's like, okay, I'm into that. So that one alone. But there's some more exciting features I want to talk to you about. Let's move on to personalized sending.
Now, this is pretty crazy. So think about how most people open their email. Everybody has a different time. And there's been a million articles about the best time to send email. Tuesdays at 2 o'clock, Wednesdays at 10 a.m., whatever. But at the end of the day, there is really no better time than when the recipient is opening their email. So why do email companies just blast it out in one huge blast? Because whatever time you send it, it's only good for a minuscule fraction of your subscribers. Well, what if you could send your emails so that every one of them would be at the top of the pile for your subscribers? Because at the end of the day, when you look at your email, most people get through the first 5, 10, 15 emails before they're like, I don't have time. But what if your email could be in the first 5 emails every time with every subscriber? And that's what this feature is about. We're using artificial intelligence technology to build a huge database tracking when your subscribers open their emails. And when you send an email, you just send it out, and the system will not send it out as a blast. It will send the emails out in a staggered form based on when the recipients open their emails. And this is a huge change because it's now finally, we're a company that's recognizing sending email the way you use it, not the way it's convenient for the company. And I think that's huge. And we're starting to see we just introduced this feature literally a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks ago, and we've got some great results with it. And the beauty of it is for people who are sending regular newsletters, especially you're trying to build that relationship with the clients, the more you send, the more messages you send, the more the system improves and improves and improves. It's basically, we've always talked about optimization of ad campaigns. Well, this is optimization of email campaigns.
So what's happening here then? It's actually the SendPulse system is monitoring when our subscribers are actually opening that email. So if it seems like they're opening that particular subscriber, not all of them, but that single subscriber happens to open their emails every Monday at 11, that's when this email is going to go out.
Exactly.
That's brilliant. How about, okay, so that's two. That's resend.
Now, one thing I want to mention with this the personalized sending, when you use the personalized sending, it automatically does the auto resend on top of that. So if for some reason it sent it at the perfect time and someone didn't open it, it will automatically resend it also. So it combines both those features.
Love it. How about triggered email?
Triggered email. So let's say you send out an email and you're trying to segment your list. So you want to further qualify your audience, because at the end of the day, maximization of open rate is highly tied to relevance and personalization. The more somebody thinks you're talking just to them and you know what they want, the better the chance you're going to have to get that email open and to get engagement, meaning they click through to something. So the beautiful part of a triggered email is, say you're sending out emails to a sports audience, but now you want to really refine this so you can really maximize results. And you have all these people like sports, but you're not sure which. You could actually develop an email and put links and say, if you're more interested in football, click on this. And then emails would go out specifically on football for those people and baseball for the other people. So that you can also do a triggered campaign based on if somebody doesn't open the email. So you could say, for those people that don't open the email, I want this second email to go out and say this other thing and have a different subject line. Or for people that open it, I want them to say this. Or people that clicked on a different link, I want to send them a different email. So we offer multiple options on the triggers because, again, it's all about relevance and personalization. And one other thing, we also offer unlimited options for personalization, unlimited options for segmentation. So So you literally can load up an entire database into our system, as many fields as you want, and you could say, I only want to send these emails to people that signed up on June 3rd, who liked football, and who were willing to spend more than $100. And you can segment it all down to those people.
Wow, that's cool. That's cool. Now, I've had a good look at the Send Pulse system, and it offers up the standard fare of features as well. RSS to email, which I love, which automatically converts a blog post into an email newsletter, sends it out. You've got beautiful templates, and I got to say thank you for that, because honestly, Aweber, I don't know where their head's at. I think they're just becoming a little too successful, because their email templates look like they were designed in 1972. They're the ugliest things you've ever seen on the planet, and I don't know why they haven't updated those. So that's a whole other reason I'm vacating the premises. Hate to throw them under the bus. They've been good to us as far as a sender, but it's time for them to kind of pick it up a little bit in that area. Now, another feature is web push notifications. Let's talk about that, because that is a cool feature, and it comes free of charge, what I understand, with SendPulse, for those who have an email account.
That's right. Now, when you look around today, again, we're all about getting your information in the hands of your subscriber, getting them to open that email. And a lot of people today are focusing on web push notifications because it pops up any place someone is online. It pops up in the lower right-hand corner of your browser. So we've taken web push notifications a step further. So in addition to offering it, anybody that's getting an email account, you get web push notifications for free, unlimited notifications. But the best part of it is, again, going back to segmentation. You can actually, normally when you sign up for a web push notification, the upper left-hand side of the screen, you see, do you accept notifications? Yes, whatever. Well, what if you could set up an email sign-up form where you just check a box that says, yes, I want web push notifications. So you could, and then the best part of this, say you want to segment your audience and you only want the people, you want to know what their interests are. So when they sign up for your email list and then they check the box for the notifications, they check off that they're interested in football. Well, that segmentation is also in the database for the web push subscribers. And now, since you signed up both on the same form, you can have those two names connected. So when you go to send a campaign from your email, the system will do one of several things. The system will either make a decision if you want it to and say, well, we think this guy will respond better to a web push notification. And by the way, when the web push notification pops up, you can click on it and it takes you to a web page, whatever page you want them to go to. You can also use a lot of web push notifications you see are just these little gray boxes. Well, with our web push notifications, you can actually use a larger picture, like almost, I forget the size, but it's definitely probably 3 or 4 inches high, and probably 3 or 4 inches wide. So you get nice big picture, so it really stands out and looks sharp with a logo on it for your company. And you can send them wherever you want, or you can use it. So you can either have the system decide, well, Jane is better, she responds better to web push notifications than email, or you can do them and have both happen. You can tell everybody, hey, check your email and open your email. Either way.
That's wonderful. I actually have one open on my computer right now, and which is interesting because I don't check my email all day long. In fact, Arlene checks most of our email, if not just about all of it, my wife, as you know. But this I don't mind. This I don't mind at all, because there's one that pops up. It says, hack your way to Google traffic, and I signed up for it. It's from a gentleman named Reed Florin. And I don't open his emails, to be honest, but this gets my attention. So that's another reason I like this, because it is another form of communication other than email. And email's great, and email's still by far the standard if you want to get somebody's attention. But these other forms are also working extremely well for them. Okay, Roy, so we're covering some ground here. And I think listeners would agree that these features are pretty outstanding. And anybody that's dug into any of the more traditional email marketing platforms, SendPulse, I understand they're not a legacy platform.
Actually, our company's been around for about 2 years, just had a 2-year anniversary a couple of weeks or a month ago, and based in Europe. And most of our customers have been in Europe, and now we're really pushing to expand in the U.S. And we've spent 2 years really developing the software. It's taken time to get this personalized send out, the resend features, to keep adding new features. It's hard. Some of the email companies have been out for a long time, and that's why you see these legacy kind of features, because they kind of got used to it, making money and not having to improve it. But we're the new guys, and we have to do better. And that's why we've now focused on upping the game with a lot of these things. So, we're very motivated to make things happen, and we're very motivated. We just did a webinar, 5 ways to increase your open rates by 50% or more. And part of that webinar, we found 5 actual successful stories. So it's not just a great idea. We're giving examples of how people did it and how they succeeded. So we're believers in getting results, and that's why we're focused on open rate, because I don't see any other company out there, email company, ever talking about open rates. They don't want to take responsibility. They say, we'll give you deliverability. But that's kind of like the old joke about if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's there, does it make a sound? Who knows? If you send out 1 million emails and nobody opens it, did they really go out?
This is very true, huh? Very true. Now, let's quickly get into SMS. How does it work?
Well, the third leg of our platform is the SMS texting part. And obviously, and the beauty of that is a lot of young people today, all they do is text. That's how they communicate, 100% texting. Mm-hmm. And if you want to reach these people, you have to reach them as a text, because they're really not reading their email. I actually teach classes to 20-year-olds, and they don't read their email. And then they say, I didn't know anything about this. I sent you 5 emails. I didn't see it. So if you're trying to reach a younger audience especially, texting is huge. And again, we have that as part of our platform. And when you coordinate, when you go in and put a campaign together, you can be texting people instead of emailing. So the beautiful part of what we're doing is we're offering the opportunity to choose the channel, the communication channel that's going to work best for your audience. And obviously you have to get your audience, to accept SMS text. But once they do, you can send them little short messages and say, hey, check out your email. We have this special offer for you, or whatever the thing is, and that kind of stuff, because then they can follow up with it. You can also send them a link in the text. So, this is big, and we have relationships with mobile providers worldwide. So wherever you want to send the text, we have a relationship. Now, obviously, if you send text, that's a separate part. You have to pay for the texting. That's not free. But on the other hand, it's part of the platform. So you can do a coordinated campaign right out of the same platform. And I think today, more than ever, if you're trying to reach younger people, and even like yourself, James, you're saying you respond to, here we have an example. You respond to notifications. I read emails. And my kids in my class, they're responding to texts. And we've developed a platform that addresses all 3 of us. And I think that's very unique, and I think that offers somebody a lot of leverage in building because also when you pick an email service, you want to pick something you can grow with and that grows with you. And I think what we're doing recognizes the changes that we're seeing in our communications world, the changes that we're seeing in our marketing channels, and it enables you as a user to grow with that.
I see we have about 30 seconds to cover off templates, which is a hot button to me because they're gorgeous. And I will put a link to them in the show notes as well, so you can direct link without even signing up for an account. But this is one of the reasons I can tell this is not a legacy platform, is these look like they just came off of some designer's desk who is very up to date on what looks great in 2017.
No, we put a lot of nice templates up, and we're going to add more. But they're all responsive, by the way, which means they look good on mobile, on a mobile phone, on a tablet, or on a desktop. And considering something like 60% of the people check their emails on mobile phones, that's big too today.
Now tell me about this free account that people can sign up for, any strings attached on the free version, and then also where those who have larger lists, where can they go as well?
So if you have less than 2,500 subscribers on your email list, you can sign up for a free account. There's no charge. We do include some branding on the bottom of the emails or on the web pushes and stuff, and you are limited to a total of 15,000 messages per month. But at the end of the day, the cost for our service, even if you're paying, if you want to go over those numbers, is not significant. I mean, I think the first break is like $9.85 a month. It's not going to break the bank. So we offer you the opportunity, but anybody who's just starting out, who has a small list, it's free. So you just go to sendpulse.com and click on pricing, and you'll be right on that page.
All right, Roy, any final thoughts before we wrap it up here? Any final words? You got about 30 seconds, and then we're off we go.
I guess the only thing I say is, especially given that you can get an account for free, it'd be well worth trying it. And I think the second half of the equation is, like everything else in life, we listen to things, oh, this sounds good, and then we don't do it. And you're leaving money on the table if your emails aren't being open. So what have you got to lose by getting a free account and starting to email and getting your emails open? So that would be my suggestion, just like that famous saying, just do it.
Roy, thank you, and very well said. And I can see we are out of time. Again, you can sign up for your free account at sendpulse.com. And if you enjoyed this episode and know a friend or an associate that would benefit from the information we shared here today, I'm sure they would thank you for passing this episode on to them. I know I will. And lastly, if you'd like some assistance in tailoring your new SendPulse account to your business, simply reply to the email in which you received this episode to arrange a free, no obligation 30-minute consultation. Roy, thanks again for joining me, and to our listeners, thanks for listening to another edition of the Smarter Local Marketing Podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Smarter Local Marketing Podcast. If you would love to finally have in place a rock-solid internet marketing strategy that provides you with an excellent ongoing return on investment, then go ahead and reply to the email in which you received this podcast episode to arrange a free, no-obligation 30-minute consultation to discuss how a smarter local marketing program can be tailored to your specific needs and business. Again, simply reply to the email in which you received this podcast episode to arrange your free, no-obligation 30-minute consultation.
Stepped right outside with my guitar in my hands, and the notes became loud as the sound caressed the air, and I kicked it up a notch as I strolled without a care, 'cause I'm going down the road